So I'm always asked this question, and the question is, what should I charge for my photography? And I know that when I'm asked this question, the people who ask me this question are always, they want me to give them a number, and I can't do that, and I'm not going to do that. And if you're looking for a number, then you're not going to get a number out of this video, so you might as well turn off, because I can't give you a number. Only you can decide the number. And this is something that I try and give over to a lot of my students, is that as a business person, you are going to have to make decisions on your own. Decisions about equipment, decisions about marketing, decisions about pricing, decisions about how to deal with clients. There aren't people in this world who can give you definitive answers. And it's usually the ones who say they can give you definitive answers that are probably the ones that are better not to listen to anyway. So in regards to how do I price my photography, you have to remember there's really I've broken it down into 3 stages of business. There's the beginning stage, there's the final stage, and then there's everything in the middle. The beginning stage, when you're first beginning your business, you have to remember that your clients are worth much more to you than you are to them. You're just another photographer out there. If you're just beginning, then you probably haven't got an incredibly impressive portfolio, and if you're just beginning, you haven't got thousands of raving clients who are prepared to give testimony to how fantastic you are and your services and your photography, etc., and your website is, you're just getting things up and running. So you have to remember that the clients are worth so much to you. They're worth a lot to you in regards to experience, and they're also worth a lot to you in regards to potential referrals of other customers. They're invaluable. It's really, when you really think about it, it would be worth you paying people to take pictures for them. Obviously, you're not going to do that, but just keep that in mind when you're thinking about pricing. Your goal is to build a business at the beginning. Even later on, your goal is still to build a business. But very much so at the beginning, your goal is not so much about making money. And I've seen time and time again that people who are thinking about making money all the time, especially at the beginning of their business, are usually the ones whose businesses don't turn out the way that they want them to, or they just can't get what they're trying to get out of their business and they have to close up shop, etc. The first stage, your customer is worth more to you than you are to your customer. Your goal is to get as many customers as possible. So whatever price that means, if you price yourself to the point where you're turning down work, or not that you're turning down work, that work is turning you down because you're too expensive, then that, in my opinion, is a mistake, and you have to fix that. You need to be charging a price that is going to ensure the most amount of work that you can handle. At the beginning, that is exactly what you need to be doing. And that's going to be the foundation upon which you will build your business. Your business at the beginning is, in economics, it's referred to as basically as perfect competition, which means you have a perfect supply graph, as in you're just like anybody else basically, especially at the beginning. And if you raise your price higher, you have no reason really why people are going to go with you than anybody else. And if your price is higher, then they'll go with the other people as opposed to you. So your goal at the beginning is to make sure that your price, you have to do a little bit of research to see what the prices are. And it's not a big deal to go in at the bottom. You're starting your business, and please God, you're going to build quickly and efficiently and in a real way, and you'll be able to charge more quite soon. But the very beginning has to be focused on getting as much work as possible for the experience and for the referrals. Also, don't be stingy on your time. I've seen so many videos now of people, they talk about how you price your photography, and they go through all the hours and hours and hours that you're going to spend, and and they're saying you can't work for $6 an hour, you have to price everything into it. Don't think like that at the beginning. Every customer is worth the world to you, and you have to go above and beyond to make sure that every single one of your customers is blown away by your photography and by your service. Never compromise on either. That's the first stage. Then I'll explain the final stage to you, which is much more enjoyable, and if you've earned it, it's something that needs to be earned and deserved. The final stage, you become, so to speak, a monopoly. let's talk about someone like Jerry Gahonis, who's you're not paying for a top photographer there. You're buying Jerry Gahonis. He has a monopoly, an absolute monopoly on his brand, which is Jerry Gahonis. That means you can charge what you want. A monopoly, a real life monopoly, means that you own all of the supply, and as you lift the price, it doesn't matter. It's not even going to affect the demand. So that's the level, that's the final level where you've branded yourself in such a way that people aren't now paying for a top photographer, they're paying for you. And you have the monopoly on you, so you can do really as you wish with the pricing. Then there's the middle stage, which is basically in the middle, as I just said, and you will have to be sensitive to how much of your brand, how much of a brand you actually have, and at the same time be sensitive to how much of a brand you don't have. How can you tell how branded you are? So I think like that, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think that to really know if you have a monopoly or not, I would say that you definitely need to have had people who have changed the date of their wedding to use you. If you have never had a client who was like, oh no, your book, okay, once I'm going to get back to you, let me find out about another date. If you've never had that, then I would imagine that you're not in this world of the final stage, which is the world of monopoly. If you have had that, then it could be that you're already getting there. You'll have people calling you up, and they won't be asking about the price immediately. In fact, sometimes they won't even ask about the price until the very end. The question is, are you available, and can we sit and talk? What are the options, etc., etc. That's the first question. When somebody's asking the question, how much do you cost? How much your service is that? If that's the first question, then to them, you definitely don't have a monopoly on your brand. Your brand isn't strong enough in regards to them. So the middle stage is you still owe a lot to your clients, but your clients don't. Both of you are in it for each other. By the monopoly stage, by the way, your clients are worth a lot less to you than you are to your clients. The guy who's branded himself into the world of monopoly in photography, his clients are coming to him, they're buying his or her genius and his and her art. He's just getting some money from them. You get a job, you don't get a job, it's not such a big deal. When you get to that level, then it becomes that your clients are actually worth less to you than you are to them. And you have to know if that is the case, then you have the upper hand, and you can charge the higher prices. Also to remember that the higher your prices are, I've said this in other videos, a very important point is that's how people are going to perceive you as well. So it's very difficult to have a monopoly on your brand if you're not charging. Your brand won't have the energy that it needs to be the monopoly if you're not charging a high price. The middle stage, you have to put this into the picture, and one of the questions that you have to ask in the middle stage, which I think is a very profound question, is how much do I need the money? Now, it's all very well standing on your high horse and you know, giving over how much your time is worth, etc., etc., but time does not put food, your time does not put food on your table and shoes on your children's feet. It's very nice, but it's your money that puts food on your table and shoes on your kids' feet. We just had a kid the other day, so I'm thinking about kids a lot right now. And putting shoes on their feet as well, which is very expensive. Anyway, if you don't have money, then it's worth working for less money. If you need the money, it's a very important part of the puzzle. It's worth working more for less money, but working more than working less for more money, but not having as much money. Obviously, if you put your prices up, then you need to work less. But you could put your price up to the point where instead of having 5 jobs a week, earning $1,000 a job and making $5,000 a week, you could be doing 1 job a week, making $2,500, but you're only making half the money. Maybe that's not enough for you to live on. Maybe that's not enough. So you have to put that into the pie. It's very important to remember when you are in the middle stage and you're finding where you're holding in regards to your monopoly on your brand, that you do not do what you do because you always did it. please, it's so important to remember this, that the worst reason that you can ever have for doing something, or maybe not the worst reason, but a very bad reason that you can ever have for doing something is because you've always done it. That's not a reason to do something. You have to have a reason to do anything, just because you've always done it. I've spoken to so many people who they do, especially in regards to the way they shoot, in regards to archiving, in regards to pricing, in regards to managing their business in different ways. And I've said to them, like, why do you do X, Y, or Z? And their response will be, well, it's just what I do. And you'll have a quick think and you'll say, but what about, that doesn't really make sense. Why not? Wouldn't it make more sense to do this? And they'll be either, I hear that, makes a lot of sense, or they'll be so stuck in their way of doing stuff they won't be able to hear you. Just for example, I got rid of video. I'd been offering video as a service for 8, 9 years, 10 years maybe, and it was just a no-brainer. Of course you offer video, you're a photographer, you do a package, whatever. And I made a quick evaluation. I realized that video was causing me about 85% of my headache. 80 to 85% of my headache was coming from video. They weren't happy and they wanted a new edit, and they needed more discs burned, and there was a spelling mistake on the introduction thing, etc. It's so much headache. And then I thought about it, how much I was actually charging, without getting into all the details. And I sat down it took me about 5 minutes. And I had it on my paper in front of me, and I was like, this is insane. This is the most ridiculous thing in the world. And I cut out video, and my life got so much better. And I've recommended to so many people to stop offering their video service, and they have, or they've done it in different ways, however they've done it. But it was such a no-brainer after I thought about it for a minute. So it's just things like that. Don't do things because you've always done them. Take a time out and assess. Have an assessment and work out, is it really worth me to do that? Another prime factor in this whole puzzle is courage. That you need to have courage, especially in regards to pricing. Because I know in the back of your mind you're thinking, look, if I put my prices up, then so-and-so photographer, my competition, is going to just come in and flood the market, and I'm going to be priced out, and it's gone. Business, shops, close up shop. So it's not a good idea to think like that, and you need to have courage. Have belief in your brand, and have courage to change your prices. Over the past couple of years, over the past, say, year and a half, I've been experimenting very heavily with price changing, and just recently I put my prices up by another 25% on what they were. And one of my biggest reasons for that was somebody came to me explaining how they realized one of my competitors they thought was the same price as me. They didn't realize that it was with video. I needed to keep my brand going. I need to brand myself as who we are, as in regards to Diamond Images and the kind of brand and the quality that we stand for. I needed to raise my price to make sure that we're still branded in that same way as being the best photographer out there. And so I put my prices up again, and so far it's impacted the amount of business, but it's still working. It's still going. The business is still flying, and I'm going to stay strong at least for the next few months to make sure to see how things are flying, and I'm happy with the change. But it takes courage to test where you're holding with prices. If you can push further, if you have to drop back a little bit, etc., etc. That's basically the thought process. If you're beginning, in short, your clients are worth more to you than you are to them, and every single job is very important, and you want as many jobs as you possibly can have for the experience and for the potential referrals. If you're in the final stages of your business and you've reached the world of monopolizing your brand, then you can really do what you want with the prices. In fact, as you raise the prices higher, your brand becomes even strengthened further, and you'll see in a certain way, up to a certain point maybe, until you become like a celebrity photographer like Jerry Cojones, you can keep raising your prices and it's not going to affect the amount of business so much, and you're just going to have more money. And the middle stage, which is where most people are holding at, you have to take both things into account. Test the market. Change your pricing in regards to how should I price, what should I offer, packages or a la carte. That's for a different video. But whatever you're doing, don't do it because you've always done it. Have a think, analyze, and work out, let's push this a little bit here, let's see what goes, let's see how it flies for a couple of months, let's see what happens. You know what, that isn't a good idea. You know what, I'm going to drop my prices, and like we spoke about in another video, putting the prices on your website, off the website, that's another discussion. But in short, you should have lots of help from above. You should know what to do, you should have the courage to do it, and it should all work out fantastically, and you should be blessed with a fantastically healthy, happy business where you're given the amount of time that you need to get on with your life. And remember that business isn't our life, but we have to have our own life and enjoy the pleasures that we've been given in this world, not just work all the time. And it should all be great. Please subscribe to our channel and tell your friends, and I will hold to my word and keep making videos as long as I feel that there's a purpose for doing it. And yep, look forward to seeing you soon.